Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Sumped back from the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're taking a look at Pirate Alliance Kizuna Clash for the 6+ lore against WAPOL with some full boosted teams. Now, I didn't pull Dr. Correa, so the teams won't be fully boosted in today's video. However, I did manage to pick up both Chopper and Dr. Hero Look. I actually pulled two Dr. Hero Look. It's a little bit annoying, but it is what it is, and with the no recommended step anymore, it does make it a little bit hard to pull these particular characters if you guys are looking for more drops for your regular Kizunas. However, this is a regular Kizuna. It is not a super boss, so just be mindful of that. If you are a regular player and you're wondering whether or not to summon for Chopper, I would say definitely not. Just stay on top of your assists, and you will be able to get enough resources to get everything from the boxes. But if you did do some summons, if you're a crazy cat, you really love Chopper, all of that fun stuff, and you did pick up the boosted units, hopefully these teams help you out. Bell the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff for me. And if these teams don't help you out, make sure to check out some of the other teams, because look, they probably should. Now, let's start off with the side variation. Just be mindful too, these fights, they're absolute doozies. So if like you're trying to build like hybrid teams that I'm doing in terms of like Chopper and Hero Look, or Chopper and Correa, it is a little bit hard to find replacements for the rare recruits because they do such niche things. Chopper and the two doctors are both built around healing mechanics, and not a lot of characters can actually remove some of the stuff that they actually remove. But starting it off with the Psy variation, obviously the three boosted characters are the recommended units. Slash is driven and cerebral characters are the good stuff. On turn 2, you have to deal with Pain, Special Reverse, and Paralysis. Chopper is very good as a captain because he just bypasses 10 turns of Pain. So you really only have to deal with the Paralysis and the Special Reverse here. On the final stage, after level 30, which all these teams are designed for, you have the normal blowaway shenanigans. 85% HP cut, top row gets binded, 99 turns of full immunity except for Paralysis. Normal attacks only, and attack down if you blow a 3.5 times chain. 5 turns of defense up, and an intimidation for 2 turns if you use an attack boost or a slot effect boost. If you set the chain multiplier for an unlimited amount of times, you'll take 5 turns of attack down, a full board of bomb slots, and you'll lose all your beneficial effects. Plus, there is a death hit of 50,000 damage, so a lot of annoying stuff happening here against the side variation of WAPOL. But we are using Chopper as our captain. If you guys don't have Chopper, but you do have the rare recruits, obviously you just want to run both the rare recruits, bring a friend captain Chopper, and then just replace this Chopper with the other int Chopper. He's just going to remove bind. You can use the Gear 5 Anniversary Luffy as your captain, and you're pretty much off to the races. But as long as you have a Chopper as captain, you are going to bypass the Pain, as I mentioned. You can use one of the Choppers on turn 2. That's going to give you a base attack boost, as well, a tap timing boost and a carryover effect to move into the final stage. And then you can use the other Chopper to remove the defense up. If you only have one Chopper, he'll be your defense up remover, so just be mindful of that. As mentioned, I do have Dr. Hero Look on this particular team. Dr. Hero Look is great because he's boosted around healing. So if you use the Chopper special, if say you're running 2 Choppers, you are going to get like these extra shenanigans. But this is all pretty much just damage based down the bottom here, healing over 100,000. What you do want to have a look at up here is he gives despair removal and removal from healing turn to damage with recovery orbs. And that's the big niche one I was talking about. Correa actually does the healing in general that isn't from recovery and similar slots. But Hero Look does the actual healing orbs. But for this team, he's great because he can give you a 2.25 times attack boost for 3 turns, which you can obviously get around very easily with that intimidation. However, if you guys have Correa just works way better for this particular fight, as she's the 3-turn orb booster for this particular team. We're utilizing Luffy as our bind removal unit. If you guys have Correa, you can just literally replace this Luffy with Correa. Like, that's going to be absolutely fine. She's also going to remove the bind for this particular fight, and you're pretty much good there. As for the paralysis removal, we're using the Rayleigh support, the Bardo support, and the Nami support. Nami's the big one because she gives 1 turn of cooldown to the entire crew when you get paralyzed, so then you can just bypass that. Again, if you don't have Luffy on the team, you can just use Correa, and then you're just pretty much fine there. Next, we've got Robin and Koala. Robin and Koala are a 3-turn orb booster and a color affinity booster for the team. However, like I said, if you have Correa, she's going to be an orb booster, so you don't really need Robin Koala, but Robin Koala is great because they have the Bardo support activation, and they also have color affinity shenanigans too. Finally, we have Kid Law. Kid Law are another fantastic unit to use, as Driven get all the good stuff, so you can super swap with them on turn 2. utilize their special and get 3 turns of a chain boundary, as well as a 3-turn color affinity. So that way, if you have Correa, you can just completely remove Robin Koala, and then just bring Correa, and then you're triggering the super types and stuff that way. Or if you're missing Kid Killer, you can sort of just replace him with another chain booster, something like Shanks or whatnot that's just going to give you a big chain buff to get you above that 3.5 chain. You really want to make sure you're above that 3.5 chain. Correa does give you a massive chain boost, but you do want to try and find a chain boundary unit to help you get around that. But remember, if you use a chain boundary on the final stage, it is going to trigger the interrupt. So that's my team. Again, if you have Correa, just literally replace, like, the Int Luffy down the bottom is probably the easiest one to replace. You could easily replace Robin Koala as well, and then just find another way to bring some paralysis removing supports. Kid Killer is probably a big one that not a lot of people have. I love Kid Killer. I think they're a fantastic unit. They are in tickets now, so you might have got lucky there. But I feel like if you were summoning for Chopper, you're one of those people that probably summoned for Kid Killer as well. So hopefully you guys have him. But again, if you don't have Kid Killer, just replace him with another really big chain boosting unit there. On to the next fight, the quick variation. And this one is an absolute doozy. This one is crazy annoying. Again, Chopper, Hero Look, and Correa, all the boosted characters. We got Powerhouse, Free Sweet, and Cerebral's got all the good stuff. On turn 2, you have to deal with 5 turns of Blind after Sockets, Hunger, Healing turn to damage, and then a full body recovery orbs. And this is where that Hero Look special actually works very nicely. On the final stage, though, you have to deal with 4 turns of special limits for 2 times, so you can only use 2 specials on the final stage. 3 turns of Crewmate Silence, 5 turns of attack and orb boosting, 5 turns of a 0.1 chain boost, immunity except delay, 1 turn of defense up, normal attacks only, top right character gets special reversed by 1 turn. You get an attack down if you blow a certain chain, as well as an intimidation for conditional boost and color affinity for 3 turns. Massive hit of color affinity and conditional boosting removal. If you delay the enemy, though, you will remove the attack down below a certain chain. You'll remove the tiny attack and orb boost, but you have to deal with 7 turns of paralysis. So it's up to you what you want to do there. If you want to delay, remove these very small buffs, or you just use stuff on turn 2. And that's pretty much what we're doing here. We're utilizing Shanks as our captain here, and then using Chopper as a sub with a friend captain Chopper. So if you guys don't have Chopper, but you have the rare recruits, you can run this team with a friend captain Chopper and just replace Chopper with Correa. Shanks, the upside to Shanks is he basically just handles stage 2, to be honest. They want you to use Hero Look on that particular stage, and this is like the one that he's like really good for, but like he's kind of not. Like he just isn't if you're running Shanks. The reason that Hero looks good here, though, is because he removes that very niche ability to get all of the healing shenanigans. Obviously, you can always use a friend captain Chopper on turn 2 if you are running 2 of them. That's going to give you a really big heal, which should help out for this bottom part with all the paralysis and whatnot. But remember, you're using him on turn 2 anyway, and that bottom part is just extra damage. The big thing you want to use him for is that the recovery orbs turn to damage and the 3 turns of the attack boost. The 3 turns of attack boost means that you can bypass that tiny attack boost. You can then use Shanks to rotate all your orbs into Psy, get 3 turns of a color affinity buff, so that way you don't have to worry about the intimidation on the final stage. He also removes the barrier, which is awesome. He does so much for that fight. Actually, he doesn't. There is no barrier. He removes the hunger because he has the hunger limit break ability. That's the other thing he removes. So if you have him max hunger, that's going to work great. Plus Chopper. Chopper has hunger as well. So it's really nice. We are going to bink the Luffy special on turn 1, though. Luffy gives us 5 turns of an orb buff. And even though we have access to Shanks' super class with this particular team, we're not really utilizing it for what it's used for. We're just using it as a cerebral superclass, I suppose. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's not really giving us too much of a buff. But Luffy's going to be our orb booster. He increases that orb buff as well. Works really nice. Shanks can increase the attack boost from Hero Look, which is really cool. Bok Punch and Monster, we're going to use them on turn 2 as well. They give us 3 turns of a chain boost, which is awesome. We're really only using them here to trigger that Shanks Super EX. But if you want to replace this unit with another like quick unit that can do 3 turns, something like the rare recruit Zoro probably would be a little bit nicer, but he's obviously not getting boosted on a Chopper, so just be mindful of that. Or if you have Hero Look, if you have Correa, you can just put Correa literally in that Bok Punch and Monster spot. Like that's going to work really hunky-dory. We can utilize our Chopper specials on turn 2. We don't need them on the final stage because I'm using the Sabo support on Luffy to take care of the defense up. So we're literally just carrying a whole bunch of buffs into this final stage. The Crewmate Silence, I believe, is Fear. But if it's the one where you can't do anything, like, you're actually fucked. Like, you're actually fucked. It's over. So you have to use everything on turn, on turn 2. and then sort of just bypass everything. The downside to this team is we don't have a conditional boost. Conditional boosts do get absolutely cucked for 3 turns regardless. But in saying that, at the same time, we do have color affinity, attack boosting, orb boosting, chain boosting, base stats, tap timing, all of that fun stuff we will actually have. If you really want to, you could probably... Nah, I guess you can't. If you find another 3-turn color affinity booster, you could probably replace Bok Punch and Monster. But again, it sort of just depends on what you want to do and how you want to go about it. Shanks is a 2-turn orb boosting ability as well, so you could just use his orb boost to bypass that tiny ability, but like Luffy, he just works a little bit better for this particular team. So again, if you don't have Hero Look, just bring another 3-turn attack booster, like the what's his name? The Anniversary Luffy, and then just replace the other Luffy on the team with a 3-turn orb booster. Something like Robin Koala would work absolutely exceptionally. Or you could even use Correa there, so that's going to work out really nicely for you guys. Moving on to the final variation, though, and this one is where Correa is just super useful. If you don't have her, it's going to be a little bit rough. It's going to be a little bit rough indeed. On stage 1, Psy, Int, and Dex carries get all the good stuff. On stage 2, you have to deal with 3 turns of burn, a full board of bomb orbs, a bomb slot barrier, and 30,000 death hits. So if you hit perfects, you take burn damage. If you don't hit perfects, you don't break the barrier, and you have to deal with the bombs. Plus, then you take the death hit. On the final stage, after level 30, you have the blowaway shenanigans, 50% HP cut, left column bind, top row special reverse, 5 turns of poison and healing converted to damage except for recovery and similar slots. And this is where Correa is really good, because there's not a lot of characters can actually remove this debuff. And the reason it's so prevalent is because you also get poison orbs. There's full immunity except paralysis. Top row gets despaired by 6 turns. You get 1 turn of paralysis yourself, and then normal attacks only. Plus, if you remove the poison and you're below 50% HP, the enemy will give you 8 turns of bind, which will go down to 5, obviously after sockets, and then have 5 turns of resilience. So, you're getting a lot of very nasty shenanigans. If you are bringing a bind removing captain and then you use a support to remove the poison, you will auto proc this interrupt, which will then mean you have to remove the despair very quickly. And if you remove the despair, then you can use stuff like Shanks' captain. But if you do any healing stuff, then you are going to take a shitload of damage. Correa is great at getting around that because she removes this, and obviously with Chopper, he's doing a shit ton of healing. So you got to be mindful of that. And you need him to get around the poison. So the team I put together looks like this, and we'll kind of chop and change depending on how the actual run looks. Make sure to hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on the playthrough video, so you can understand how these teams work, if you guys are sort of copying what you see in front of you. But we're using Luffy as our captain, the Gear 5 6-star. He can remove bind and special reverse in his captain ability, which is really, really good, because that way you can deal with those very annoying abilities. We do want to try and actually put the Nami... Yeah, I need the Nami support too. I totally spaced on that. Nami's going to give you the 1 turn of paralysis removal on the team as well. Plus, she gives you the cooldown with her support ability. This Nami support is absolutely god tier. But the reason we're using Luffy as captain is because he can remove binds, but he also has a revive. Now, this revive might be very, very handy. We don't have access to his EX Super, but that's okay, because we literally have him here as a captain that can revive. And the reason we're doing that is because on turn 2, we don't have a way to get around the burn. We're utilizing Shanks to bypass the barriers. He just removes the barriers, which is great. His special just removes 3 turns of them, plus he gives you a full board of Psy Orbs, so you don't have to worry about the block orbs, and it just all works out super hunky-dory there. Sorry, bomb orbs. So you remove the barrier, you can just kill on turn 2. If you hit a couple perfects, it's not the end of the world, because you're going to take the burn damage regardless. And then on the final stage, we're going to remove the burn and the anti-heal, like the damage healing, with Shirahoshi Mancherry. Now, if you have Dr. Correa, you just put Dr. Correa here. It's just an easy slot in there. We can obviously use our Chopper special on turn 2 as well, just to get some overheal for Hero Look. But again, if you have Correa, you're just straight replacement. And the reason that I've got Luffy as captain here is because I'm not sure how the order of operations go. If you guys know, let me know in the comment section below too. I'm going to use Shirahoshi Mancherry to remove the burn and remove that healing ability. And with that, I will be able to use Chopper and that to heal. However, when you actually use this special, you heal 100,000 first. So I'm not sure if this gets you to 0 HP, then you've removed the debuffs, and then you die, and then Luffy revives, or it removes the debuffs first, and then you heal. If that happens where you just remove the debuffs first, and then I heal, I can just switch these two around, call it a day, swap that bottom Luffy for another Luffy, like Gear 5 Luffy that does an attack boosting special or whatnot, and we're just sort of off to the races. But I'm not exactly sure how that's going to look, so for the meantime, I'm going to do something like this. It's sort of just how it has to be. The upside to Shiroshi Mancher as well, they can use the Mihawk support for end of turn damage, so that way when we remove the poison with Chopper, we can actually get through that resilience. Plus, no matter which captain you use, Shanks or Luffy, you are going to remove that bind. Very, very annoying stuff. You got to make sure you remove the despair first, though. If you don't remove the despair, the bind removing captain ability won't work. So that's why we're going to use Hero Look. Hero Look can go first, get the 3 turns of attack boosting, remove the 6 turns of despair. Very, very nice stuff from him. And then we can use Shiroshi Mancher and sort of do that sort of stuff there. If Luffy does die, he comes back as Gear 5. We can use his special. He's an Orb booster. He's a Color Affinity booster. That's great. If we don't die, he's just a Color Affinity booster, which isn't the end of the world. But like I said, that's when we can sort of swap him down, use the other Gear 5 for an Orb buff that way, rather than having the 6-star. But let me know what you guys are running if you guys did some summons. If these seem to help you out, bell the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, if you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. Bell the notification bell, so that way you don't miss out on the playthroughs. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.